This is the Four-Man Rush. Hello, Panther fans, and welcome to another podcast of the Four-Man Rush. I'm your host, Timmy V.O., here with Kevin and our special guest, Mr. James the Brit Buck himself down from old Canada. Howdy, James. James, welcome back to the old podcast, bro.
Hey, it's good to be back. It's starting to get cold up here in Canada at the moment. Great game at the weekend. Can't wait to talk about it.
Right on. Yeah. It was sloppy on the Panthers side, but you know, some goods and some bads, but mostly bad since we lost the game. And you know, Tom Brady hasn't lost much. He hasn't lost much. There were some drops in that game, man. That should have been money. But anyway, yeah. So yeah, obviously, folks, we're gonna talk about the game between the Panthers and the Buccaneers. We'll chat about that, of course, and touch on some some f-ups on part of the Carolina Panther squad. Now, you know, and a lot of that has to do with the Tampa Bay front on defense. Man, those guys are. You're talking about some savvy veterans with some horsepower. That was interesting to watch, and you know, Kevin will also touch on that in detail, of course. Go ahead and check out our Twitter feed. He already has some breakdowns up from the coaches film on there already. So yeah, go check that out. Let's get into it, man. We're gonna talk about the Bucs and the Panthers, and then we'll talk about the upcoming game. It's just straightforward like that, folks. Once again, thanks for dropping by, checking out the Four-Man Rush podcast. Hold on to your hats, folks. The Four-Man Rush is on the scene. Kev, we'll start with you, man, and then we'll go to James, and you know, just give us an overview of what you guys saw from Sunday in Tampa, Florida. Go ahead, Kev.
Yeah, well, anytime that you go on a road game, there's always the mind frame that you're going to have to be twice as good in order to pull off a win because you're traveling, adverse conditions, and, you know, we went on a road game like we stopped by Disney World on the way to Tampa because we was just in a gift-giving mood all day on Sunday. 4 turnovers is not a recipe for success at home or away, but definitely when you're against the road. Now, man, that first quarter was just, that first quarter was just rough. I mean, it was just, it's like we couldn't. The first drive, we looked good. We made movement. We was moving the ball pretty good. I'm like, okay, we're focused. We're moving the ball, and then, bam, here come the turnovers. You just cannot do it, particularly in the red zone. Red zone turnovers are just absolutely just brutal. And for the Panthers on that for that opening drive to have it end that way, it just really just started a domino effect. And you know, we come back down, have another turnover. You know, 2 first quarter turnovers, and it seemed like from a mind frame point of view, the team just could not shake that off at that time. It was just blunder after blunder. I hate to say it because he's no longer here, but it was really a lot of missed opportunities.
Oh man!
Had to say it, man.
I don't blame you.
Quick shout out, Coach Rivera. You know, kick cancels ass. We know you know how to keep pounding, man. So definitely got to shout out the old former coach up there for the Washington football team. You know, yes. Who had to get an IV during halftime because he was dealing with the battling the cancer. So you know, get well, Coach Rivera. Still love you down here. But back to this game. I mean, you know, when you look at the numbers, I mean, it's just pretty much, you know, I'm just looking at the team stats here. Oh, man, I mean, passing first downs, we had 18 to Tampa had 11, but when you're paying from behind, you're going to throw the ball a lot more, so that really doesn't say much. Ironically, we had 71 plays to their 57. We had 427 yards to their 339. We even had one more drive than them. We had 12 drives. They had 11. Barely, but we even averaged more yards per play than they did. We averaged 6 yards per play. They averaged 5.9.
Wow.
I mean, you know, usually when those numbers are in your favor, you're putting yourself in a good chance to win. But the one stat that nullifies all of that is turnovers. It will erase all of your best efforts right there, and that's just what we had. 2 interceptions, lost 2 fumbles. Man, man, it was just an avalanche effect. And when you're on the road, it's really going to be something that's going to take you out of the ability for, especially when you're a young team. Now, as I mentioned on the post game Sunday, now we do have some veterans on the team. Kawan Short been there 9 years. I think 7 years. Trey Boston, he's been in the league since 2014. Shaq Thompson, 2015. So we got some guys that's been here long enough, but this is their first time in a veteran leadership role. And I think that you really didn't have the old heads that we used to looking to get us recentered and get us reback focused, because from the scheme of things, this team has in previous years came back from such early mess ups to pull games out, but it just seemed like it just started a domino effect. And honestly, Tampa gave us chances to get back in the game, but we just couldn't capitalize on it. And at the end of the day, the war of attrition just took over, and Tampa did what they had to do to secure the win. We made a gallant attempt to come back in the second half. Defense got a lot better, tightened things up. We got it to 21-14. I'm in there beating my chest, keep pounding. You know what I'm saying? I'm feeling all hype. You know what I'm saying? I done knocked my water bottle, you know what I'm saying, over a little bit. Like, yeah, come on. I'm beating chairs and everything, trying to get my energy through the field, but to no avail. Hey, you want to win, but you always got expecting in the back of your mind, this is probably not going to go your way today. Yeah. But the fan of you is like, damn it, I think I can. We're like the little engine that could, damn it. We're trying up in here. So, again, I can come away with the game with the fact that, we didn't roll over 21-0 the way they was playing. This could have easily been a 42-10 game, had Avalanche. But I like the fact that we showed enough fight and grit, even though we came out 2 plays after third quarter with the third turnover.
Yeah.
Yeah, that part. That whole part. but again, show grit, made it more competitive, made the Bucs work to put it away at the end. But overall, the better team won as what was expected. We'll see you guys in a few weeks and try this again up in the QC.
Yes, sir. Well said, man. Well said. It is what it is, folks. It is what it is. Now, we're going to get the Tampa Bay side of things with our own James, the Brit Buck. Speak on it, James.
Yeah, I actually agree with a lot of what Kevin says there about how the sort of game went, the war of attrition, really. Yes, the Buccaneers were expected to win this game in the grand scheme of things. We spoke before the show, Carolina's going through a rebuilding stage at the moment, so sort of positives are what this team is looking for, and I think there were a lot of positives to take from the game. For me, actually, I think that, pardon me, sorry, I know I said this to you before the show, the scoreline didn't really reflect, actually, the quality of the game, and it came down to 3 things for me. Yes, Tom Brady and the Buccaneers offense was a methodical machine moving up and down the field. But there was a couple of key things for me that really, really settled this game. One is, as Kevin's mentioned, the 4 turnovers. This is the biggest thing that's changed about the Buccaneers this year from last year. Last year, it was the Buccaneers giving away the football and their defense having bad starting field position. This time around, it's flipped on its head. So you know what? Yes, as Kevin rightly says, the Panthers were getting the majority of the yards. They were getting the majority of the possession. But when the Bucs did have the football, they were starting further up the field. Another thing for me that really, really swung this game was how quickly the front seven of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, obviously playing in that new 3-4 defense that we started seeing last year. This really looks like it's been worked on over the summer. But 5 sacks on Teddy Bridgewater. Obviously, you've got to be looking at your offensive line and saying, it's not just the sacks, it's the amount of times that he was put under pressure as well by that front seven. Yes, the Buccaneers are a very fast and aggressive defense these days, but an offensive line is there to do a job. And as much as a fan, I love to see that happen when you are constantly setting up camp to the point where you should be paying rent to stay in your opponent's backfield. But it's got to come to a point where, like, from a pure football point of view, the coaches have got to be making adjustments. Teddy Bridgewater has got to see the blitz coming, and it's his job to also call audibles, but it comes down to the offensive line as well. They've got to recognize what their protections are, and they've got to keep Teddy upright. He's a talented quarterback. I mean, we saw last year before he was a free agent when he was with the Saints. He came into games. He led the Saints to victories. I believe he went, was it 3 or 4-0?
I believe so.
Something ridiculous like that. Mm-hmm. He's shown that with a talented cast around him, he can be a franchise quarterback. A lot of people forgot about.
So what, Kev?
I think Teddy Bridgewater went 5-0 as the quarterback for the Saints when Drew Brees was out.
5-0.
5-0. So you know what? Even further proves my point. A lot of people forget about Teddy Bridgewater. He was a first-round draft pick. He was lighting up the NFL when he was playing in Minnesota until he had that freak horrific injury.
Yeah.
Nobody really expected that he was even going to come back and play football.
Yeah.
But you know what? He took his lumps. He did his rehab. He fought back. He got into the game, and he showed that he's more than talented.
Yep.
If Carolina can convince Teddy Bridgewater to be their franchise quarterback, they are set for at least the next 5 years or however long they sign him for on a long-term deal. But for me, the third thing that really, really changed the game was a 46-yard touchdown run from Leonard Fournette that broke the back of the game.
Yeah, that was.
I mean, if Leonard Fournette doesn't get the blocking he gets and he doesn't go 46 yards just after you've scored the field goal, who knows what could happen? If Teddy Bridgewater is actually allowed to stay up and in his pocket, who knows? And again, the turnovers change games. Sometimes a turnover here and there is not an important thing. It's football, it happens. But when you're handing the ball over in key situations, as seen to happen in Sunday's game, that can be an absolute backbreaker, not only for an offense, but for the defense as well, because they're not properly rested. And you could see toward the end of the game, and I think that is the reason why Leonard Fournette was able to score that touchdown. He came into the game with fresher legs, Ronald Jones obviously getting the start, and he comes up against the tight defense, which has been in and out all game. And you know, the Bucs had a game plan. They stuck to it and it worked. But if you're a Carolina Panthers fan, you can't be too upset about this game because, as we said this before the show, and I know I've said it plenty of times. I know I've said this when I've been speaking to Kevin as well. The Buccaneers are in Super Bowl or bust mode, and the way that the team has been built, there are going to be games where fans are going to be exactly in the same position as yourselves going, you know what, were we as bad as the scoreline suggests? And more often than not, the answer is going to be no, because whatever the scoreline says here in this game, it was not as distant as game as that, especially when it went to 21-14. Fortunately, I knew what happened because I didn't actually get to see the game live. I was attending my fiance's bridal shower. But you know what? I was kind of glad in a way because when I watched the Panthers coming back into the game, I saw the momentum switch. And you know what? I'm a Buccaneers fan. We've been here before. We've looked dominant over teams and then we've blown it in the worst possible way. Like, even the Falcons would look and be proud at the way we blow games sometimes. Or is that too soon? Is that joke too soon, guys?
No,
nobody blows leads like the Atlanta Falcons.
Yeah.
Like, in the worst way, nobody.
It's never too late for them.
It's never too soon to tell jokes about them, and it's never too late for them to blow a lead. Do you know they had like a 99% chance of winning?
Yeah, I mean, it's never happened before in NFL history, ever. You're supposed to win those games, folks.
Is it safe to say the Atlanta Falcons are the Monica Lewinsky of the NFL?
Oh, now that's too soon.
All right, so let's talk numbers, gentlemen. Let's talk numbers. So we'll start with the offense, and we'll just go in a little more detail about the yards and the percentages and rushing, passing, all that other good stuff. And and of course, Kevin, please elaborate on the offensive line, because I mean they, like James said, man, they had Teddy jumping around in that pocket a little bit, but when he was steady, boy, 200+ yard receivers.
So here's how when I look at the numbers, this is proof that stats can be misleading as far as like the overall factors. So
yeah,
let's start with Teddy Bridgewater, 33 of 42, 367 yards, 8.7 yards average, but 2 interceptions and 5 sacks. I mean, any day of the week, 33 for 42 for 367, that's a recipe for success for your quarterback.
Right.
But we got the 2 and a 0 in the wrong place.
Facts.
It's the issue we had with Jameis Winston last year, though. It's the exact same issue that we had, because we'd look at the situation and be like, hey, you know what? He threw for 400 yards. He threw for a touchdown. He ran for 60 yards. And, oh, wait, he had 4 interceptions.
Yep, same scenario.
Yeah, and then we look at the rushing game. I mean, once again, tough sledding for McCaffrey, only 59 yards on 18 carries, 3.3 yards average. Now, the 2 TDs look nice for all you fantasy holders.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, I had them on mine, so, that did help me out, per se. But, after that, we got Curtis Samuel, who broke off a 14-yard run.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Like his days back at Ohio State.
Yeah.
And the new guy, Mike Davis, he 1 carry for 1 yard.
Uno.
And probably the carry of the game that I wish we could have got a couple yards more was the fake punt with Jeremy Penn. The Bucs was ready for it, so shout out to their special team coach for being prepared. But you know what? I like the aggressiveness of Matt Rule. He went for it when times when we're used to seeing either field goals or punts.
Yep.
I'm not even mad. I'm not mad at all. Like I said, what do we got to lose in a rebuilding year? Not nothing. Absolutely nothing.
It's not even that as well. It's if you look at where they went for it on 4th down. I actually, retrospectively, I can look at this as a neutral and say I absolutely love that call, because if you look at where they are when they make that, it's either a long field goal in excess of 60 yards, and if they miss it, the ball gets turned over on downs anyway. It's a punt that might go into the end zone. If you're lucky, you might pin them back inside the 10. But then again, if it's not, is it going to get returned out to the 30, 40 anyway? When you're in that area of the field, I think it is better to go for it more often than not. And, neutrally as a football fan, I love the call, because it was actually low risk and high reward. Sure, it didn't come off, but you know what? It wasn't in a devastating area of the field.
Yeah, and let me get to the part where Jadarius kind of got in on our post game, Tim. When you look at DJ Moore's numbers, I mean, again, for you fantasy lovers, it looks good. 8 receptions, 120 yards, 15-yard average. hey, those are, receiver number one numbers.
Love
But
it.
you look at when them yards came, because he was targeted 13 times and got 8 receptions. You think that's good, but it's the times that those 5 targets that he didn't catch, those were momentum killers. 3 of those targets would have been first downs that would have kept drives alive. Wasn't able to bring that in. And I think that's where Jadarius was hitting home at, as far as like when Steve Smith was targeted, it wasn't so fat that he got numbers, but when he got his numbers. He got his numbers when it counted the most. And that's something that we're not seeing consistently enough from the self-anointed, well, not self-anointed, but the one that Smith anointed as the one that he think the Panthers can, have come after him. And I understand this, but it's year 3. These are the balls you got to come up with.
Yes, sir.
It's not like these were poorly thrown balls or anything like that. You just got to come up with the plays when it need the most. So, Robbie Anderson, I mean, what can you say? 10 targets, 9 receptions, 109 yards, 12 yards average. I mean, hey, first 2 games with Carolina, he got 2 100-yard games. A surprise here, Mike Davis in backup duty when McCaffrey went out in the fourth quarter. 8 receptions for 74 yards. That's kind of McCaffrey-ish.
On 8 targets.
Per se.
On 8 targets, folks.
Yeah. So 8 for 8. So every time he caught the ball, so the kid got hands. McCaffrey, when he was playing, 5 targets, 4 receptions, 29 yards. But yeah, so when you look at the numbers offensively, that's why it's misleading, because at the end of the day, we what were we on third down? Let me go back here. On third downs, it looks like we were 6 for 11. Okay, so a little over 50%.
Decent.
Yeah, it's decent.
Right.
Tim, we've seen 2 for 11 and 3 for 11 before.
Yeah.
So, so we're 50% on third down. Again, looking at these from stats, you would think that, we put in some work, but, 3 of those third downs that we didn't make were passes to DJ Moore that I was talking about that would have kept drives alive, that would put us in scoring position. So I know it may sound like nitpicking, but it's all about when you're getting the stats, right? For me. And, red zone, we was 2 for 4 in the red zone. Fair, but, you got to do better than that when you're on the road.
Yeah.
You got to be 60% or better on the road,
exactly.
To convert.
Yep.
And the last one was penalties. 9 penalties for 77 yards.
9. And the timing on those were horrendous.
On those 9 penalties, Tim, guess how many of those penalties came on third down, both offensively and defensively?
How many?
6.
6 of 9?
Of the penalties we got were on third down. So, bro, you talking about self-inflicted. Man, you win the military. We know about friendly fire. This is the type of stuff that when you're rebuilding, that you just gotta. It's gonna make you sick, but it's just gonna happen. So, not to take away anything from Tampa winning the game, because they did win it outright. They beat us by 2 touchdowns, but we sure gave a lot of help.
Sure did. Sure did.
Yeah. I'll even say this.
Christmas in July. I said Christmas in September, too. So I know it's 85 degrees, but, ho, ho, ho from the Panthers.
Right? Go ahead, James.
I was going to say, even coming at this from, like, the perspective of like, a Bucs fan, it's when you see the other team lining up for, like, 3rd and 3, it's got to be a pretty special effort. So when a penalty comes in and it's a mental error, but it still puts the other team back 5 yards, then you know what? You go from 3rd and 3 to 3rd and 8. That looks a lot better. You're now more likely to get the offense off the field. So penalties were a definite factor for the Panthers in this game. And, as Kevin says, not to take anything away from the Buccaneers, the Panthers helped. Yeah, but, as we've said this before now, it is a young team. It is a team that is going to grow. They're going to gel together. And, if they're going to make mistakes, they might as well make them when it's not your window for a Super Bowl. Get them out the system. Learn how to bounce back from making a mistake. Learn to accept the mental anguish from going 3rd and 3 to 3rd and 8 and go, you know what? We're in a crappy situation, but we're going to convert. It's these little knocks that are going to make the Panthers organization and the young guys around the team a lot better in the long run. So, as you and Kevin have said, it's much better to make those mistakes now when there's no Super Bowl or playoffs on the line.
Right, for sure. Definitely, man. Definitely. Me personally, man. I used to work with kids, athletes and things of that nature. And I love the growth process. I really get a kick out of that. And that to see them go from A to B and B to C and on and just grow as a player, mature as a player, man. I love seeing that. I love seeing that. So let's talk.
Yeah, me too.
Let's talk about the defense. Kevin, we had a hard time stopping that run game again. And Tom Brady had one of the cleanest jerseys in the NFL in the fourth quarter at the 0.00 mark. What the hell, bro? Can we get a sack, please? Jesus.
Man. Bro, after 2 games, Tim, we have a total of 0 sacks and 1 quarterback hit.
One
quarterback hit. And you want to know the irony of that quarterback hit?
Do tell.
It led to the Tom Brady interception. Amazing what happened when you pressure the quarterback, right?
What the?
What was that old Guinness commercial? Brilliant.
Guinness, yeah. Yeah. Shout out to Guinness. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right. But yeah, man. I mean, defensively, as I was watching the All 22 today that came out, I'm seeing the effort, but the execution is still slow to materialize. And I realize this is the second game back. And Tim, you've heard me say it in the chat. For me, these first 4 games, I'm treating like preseason per se as far as my expectations, because you got to get game conditioning. Anyone that's played the game knows, all these months, even if you're doing what you're doing in training camp, that energy against somebody else, it just doesn't naturally just come back on just like that. So you definitely want to make sure that you're in position to allow your body to get that, good game condition. That's like, for me, these first 4 games, game 3, we're at the Chargers, and game 4, I think we're home against the Cardinals. I'm treating them like preseason as far as like conditioning, wear and tear, because you see guys being where they're supposed to be to make the play, but there's just something missing here that is not allowing them to. Now, again, I don't want to take any credit away from Tampa. It was some plays, they just blew our ass off the ball. It was point blank similar. Like, they had this one blocking scheme I saw, particularly that really benefited from Leonard Fournette, where they double teamed both defensive tackles, slid off to our linebackers to just part the Red Sea. You would think Tom Brady was Moses and he had a staff. I mean, the wings. Let my people go. It was just crazy, man, how it just happened like that. I mean, even backside, like they were double teaming a defensive tackle. That just seemed to be a blocking scheme that I hope that we point on film that, we can address, because it was highly effective. Again, this is the benefit of all 22. You pick up on things like that to see why it's them holes, opening up the way that they did for to get touched. My thing is this: if both of my defense tackles getting double teamed, I need my linebackers humming. Okay,
exactly.
I need them lumberjack backers to be in there cleaning clockwork. Call them out. Shaq Thompson, where you at? Bruh.
Where you at, bruh?
You had 5 years with Luke Kuechly, 4 years with Thomas Davis under apprenticeship. I'm not seeing any play from you yet. Like I say, I'm giving the first 4 games to make me think that you've learned from legends.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
And Ron Rivera, mind you. a Super Bowl winning linebacker for the Bears, mind you. That ran with Mike Singletary, mind you.
Right. Who you can make an argument probably could be the greatest middle linebacker all time. You can make a case. You know, Singletary had them eyes, man. All 5'10" of them, he will bust your chest.
Bust your
you know, but yeah. So I mean, just watching the defensive line. I mean, again, it's like we're having a hard time getting off blocks. Like we're getting pushed back, but we're not able to disengage blocks to make plays. So that's where it comes from. Even when we're blitzing 5 or 6 defenders, we're not getting away from the blocks in order to make the plays that's needed. So, you know, that goes a lot to with the reason why we're dead last in how we affect the quarterback. And with the quarterbacks that we got coming up,
man,
we gonna make some average quarterbacks look like
real good
first team All Pro. You know, if Tyrod Taylor gets off on us next week,
bruh,
that's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say because they've already said he's the starter for next week, not Justin Hubert or whatever. But
Lord Jesus Christ.
yeah, and then again in the secondary, my God. And James, you can elaborate on it. I saw the pictures in slow motion. Mike Evans' touchdown was off another one of his infamous push-offs that he does so well. And I think for a guy of his talent,
he don't need to push it off.
He don't need to do that.
No.
You know, it's like, hey, they didn't call it. It's a touchdown. Hey, it is what it is. It goes against Dante Jackson, so whatever. But overall, though, man, we'll have moments where we look like we got it figured out, and then we'll see something that we're not prepared for, and it just busts us in the ass. You know, like, yeah, man, it's just frustrating, but I expect it. So I may be bothered in the moment, but it doesn't affect me long term because at the end of the day, I know it's going to happen. Yeah. You know, so, but overall, defensively, I see effort, but like I say, the execution is still a long ways away.
Yeah, I think with the Mike Evans touchdown, what you're seeing there is, and you know what, I know that your listeners are going to be like going, "Boo!" I think what you see there is a veteran move, and you know what, is there a suggestion of pass interference? Absolutely. It's you see 2 players running in the same direction. Mike Evans knows that he's stopping on a dime and turning around. All he has to do, he doesn't have to fully extend his arm at all. And he knows that as soon as you get a full arm extension, you are attracting the attention of the officials, and it's laundry day. All he needs to do is give that little nudge, and the cornerback is carrying off into the end zone because that extra boost in momentum gives him the separation. And he's on the 2-yard line when he turns around and catches that back shoulder throw. I mean, Mike Evans is a big guy. He could fall over and he would cross the pylon. So, you know, it is a veteran move. And as a Buccaneers fan, it's good to see him doing that because in the early start of his career, as you say, like the push-offs that he does so well, he was absolutely terrible at using his body to create that separation. He was all straight arms. It was all offensive pass interference. And as you say, for a receiver with Mike Evans' talent and his catch radius, I mean, his catch radius, I believe that the science puts it as like he's got a web of like 13.5 feet around him that he can reach.
Wow.
And that's a crazy catch radius.
Crazy. That's crazy.
And then when you look at when he does like the dumb things like, and I'm trying not to cuss on,
bro, cuss away,
air, man.
Feel free.
You're like, oh yeah, well here it comes. When he does dumb shit like that, you've got to say why. I mean, why? When you've got that talent, you have top end speed, you have elite size and strength. You don't need. I mean, dude, you are 6'6", okay? You are built like a tank. You do not need to be pushing a 5'9" cornerback. it was really, really frustrating to see for the first few years of Mike's career. And I know a lot of Bucs fans saw that play and our hearts went in our mouths because it's like, you know what, he's got a reputation. Is the flag coming out? And you know what, he got away with it. And I'll call it what it is. He got away with it.
Appreciate your honesty.
But what I'll also say though is if that happens for any of the 31 other teams in the NFL, their fans are saying, no, he didn't extend the arm. It's a veteran maneuver.
Yeah.
I think it's one of those gray areas that, you know, if it happens against you, you're calling it pass interference every time. And if it happens for you, you're kind of going, maybe not. But, you know, I know where your guys are coming from on that. So, like, I totally understand, like, where the burn comes from there.
Yeah. It was something, man. I mean, there are veteran moves out there, you know, here and there, but yeah, that was that was interesting, and that was like a one snap. That's the first play. That's the first play after that turnover, if I'm not mistaken. Hike, throw, touchdown, boom. And that goes back to what Kevin was mentioning about the energy of the team. You could just see people just drop their hands by the side and their shoulders drop, and they're just like, "Are you serious? Really?"
Yeah, it kills the team. It absolutely kills the team. I mean, you guys have been Panthers fans for years. You've seen the highs and the lows.
Oh, buddy.
And like same here with the Bucs as well. You see the highs and the lows, and sometimes when you know you're in a bit of a low patch, you look for the small sparks that can actually bring you like a bit of hope, a bit of joy toward the game, get that blood pumping, get the adrenaline flowing, get your asses into the game, and then a turnover happens. It doesn't just kill momentum; it can kill the energy on the sideline.
Right.
And I think that did happen a couple of times. But I think the positive thing that Panthers fans can take away from this is that yes, it absolutely killed the the energy on the sideline, but you still kept bringing it back. And you know, it's a feisty team. It might not have all the talent in there that it needs, but it's a feisty team.
Yeah, they fight, man. I gotta give it to Coach Rule in that aspect. He got these boys fighting, and that's for sure. Now, it's really gonna be interesting to see them flying all the way out to L.A. for this next game, man. It's gonna be interesting because that's gonna be tough.
Yeah, it's like we got the spirit of the Red Tails. We fight.
You gotta fight to win, man. You gotta fight to win.
If you're going down,
we're not
you're
laying
going
down, man. That's what I like. We're just, you know, you may punch us, smack us around, but damn it, we're getting up.
Yeah, I saw a lot of fight, man. Chin, I'm loving me some Chin, bro. That had to be right now one of the best picks of the draft between him and Mr. Brown, and you know Brown. He's raw, and you know, folks. I suggest you go check out our Twitter feed. Kevin was doing some breakdowns on Brown. You leave that man one-on-one with any offensive lineman, he's going to toss that ass. I mean, he was just shoving people. They had to chip him. If they didn't, he one-on-one battle, man. Brown was dominating, man. You want to elaborate on that a little bit, Kevin?
Yeah, I mean, with Derek Brown, what you're seeing is extremely, like, for all his accomplishments in the college SEC level, on the NFL level, he's still a lot of raw.
Yes.
But you see moments where you're like, when this guy figures this out, man, oh boy, it's going to be nothing but, you know, terrible days for interior blockers. You know, it's kind of like how for Bucs, and James, you can relate to this when y'all first got Vita Vea. He didn't that first year he had his moments, but it didn't quite. But you can see it like when he finally figures it out, and you know, and it's like last year the light came on for him. Like he was just busting ass on a regular. we laughed and joked about it because we saw it on the film last year, James. We was talking about how he made our center Mike Paradis his bitch. Like it was just absurd how he was just getting abused and put on skates. I thought it was the ice capades for a moment. I mean, he was just steadily, just getting skated on, man. Like there's no that what goes to a lot of reasons why, McCaffrey can't get no yardage. When your center, is back there with you. I mean, like, well, damn, it's just a thing. But yeah, we're definitely with Brown. I see that year 2 for him is just when that light's going to click, and he's gonna cause a lot of problems. He's gonna send out reminders that he's up and coming. So, but definitely check us out. Check out the Twitter feed. Definitely, I did 10 plays of Derrick Brown, both good and bad, and gave explanations for what I saw, and where he lined up, and what type of front. Just have to give you folks the type of detail that we're known for at the 4-man rush.
Right on. And James, I know you got, as Kevin mentioned, Vita Vea and Sue and a slew of defensive linemen. I mean, have you been looking at Brown, and where do you put him in terms of Sue and Vita Vea, those guys?
Yeah, I really relate actually with one of the things that Kev said when he was saying, like, last year we were joking about Vita Vea. To recount what Vita Vea was like sort of last year when he sort of first came into the league, he had so much raw ability, so much raw power. He was literally picking up guys and throwing them. Like, there's a reason we call him Maui. And it's not just because of how he looks. The guy is a demigod, but he had all this destructive power, but he didn't know how to use it. And it was really, really fun watching him do his thing, but it wasn't very productive. And he just used to enjoy just picking up the center and running through the backfield and like doing the old blind side and maybe sitting him down on the bus. But I mean, when you look at Brown, Derrick Brown, obviously he's another one of these guys. He's got a lot of potential to him, and if he figures it out, I know obviously you guys had Gerald McCoy last year when Gerald McCoy wasn't Gerald McCoy. In fact, he's not been Gerald McCoy for a few years, not even when he was in Tampa. But you've got a potential of having someone who is going to be very, very fast twitch like Gerald McCoy is. He's going to be Johnny on the spot when that football moves, but he's also got the strength to back it up. All he needs to do to put together, and it's kind of frightening to sort of see as a Bucs fan, but he's going to cause a lot of havoc in this division. I mean, talking about sort of defensive fronts, just coming off the back of Kevin, yes, there were 5 sacks and multiple quarterback pressures, but I know we were talking before the show. I know that I might be biased as a Tampa Bay fan, but looking at it from a neutral point of view, the front seven in Tampa Bay has got to be one of the best in the league.
Yeah.
You're not going to be facing Ndamukong Suh, Vita Vea, Will Golson, JPP, Devin White, who's a massive up-and-coming rookie. You've got Levante David, who's been one of the most underrated linebackers in the league since he came in.
Yeah.
And then on the other side of him, you've got the NFL sack leader in Shaq Barrett. You're not going to be facing a front seven like that every week. So, some things about this game were an anomaly. So they can sort of be chalked up to, we were playing one of the best front sevens in the league. Bad things are going to happen. But as I sort of said earlier, you are looking for moments, little sparks in the game. And I think Derrick Brown is one of those sparks. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers offensive line isn't going to frighten anyone this year. They're not going to steamroll. They've got some good pieces in place, but they're an average offensive line. But it didn't even matter if he was being double teamed. I mean, I watch the All-22 as well. I love that stuff. You see when blocking schemes are moved around to take advantage and to, then double up, and then try to flow him off the play, scrub him down the line, just absolute bull rush him. Okay, let's try and chop him. And absolutely nothing was working. He was probably quietly one of the standout players on that Carolina team. He wasn't very flashy. I mean, his stats at the end of the game read, I believe, 1 tackle.
Yeah.
But you know what? I've played the game to a okay standard, and I understand that, you know what? Actually, sometimes you can have the best game of anybody on the field, but it doesn't translate into stats. I think if fans are patient with Derek Brown and they're not saying, hey, you know what, he's got to have sacks, he's got to have quarterback pressures, he's got to have all these tackles for a loss. He isn't that player. It's the same as Vita Vea. He's not going to appear on the stat sheet. Vita Vea is probably never going to go to a Pro Bowl because he doesn't catch people's attentions. But what he is going to do is he's going to occupy the inside of an offensive line. He's going to take the center. He's going to take both either side guards, and he's just going to push everyone backwards. Derek Brown, as soon as this dude is, let me just bring up some stats on this guy. Like, the guy's a walking tank. I mean, with his like physical size, his strength, go and look at his combine numbers, and it's crazy. I mean, the guy's 6'5". He can see over the majority of linemen if he stands up straight. And at 320 pounds, nobody's moving him. But when you take into consideration the size that he has, and then you look into his physical ability, how fast he can be off the ball, it's scary. He is going to be the point that anchors the Carolina defensive line for years to come if he gets it and if the game slows down for him, because that's the biggest issue at the moment. When he's asked just to rely on his football instincts and his strength, as I say, I don't really watch a lot of Carolina football. I've only got things that I've seen to go on. But when you ask him to just work on his instincts, he's dominant. When you ask him to get technical, he gets exposed by more experienced players around him.
Yeah, that's just part of them growing pains, man. He's been working on his technique obviously during the offseason. Everybody has, but it is very obvious that OTAs did not happen with these young players, and these voluntary practices and things of that nature, voluntary workouts, stuff like that. It pays off. It pays off, and I think Brown and Chan and the rest of these guys are gonna be all right next year. And we'll see.
You've got a couple of weeks, I would say, still before you even know what's going on.
Yeah.
If you look a lot of the teams, and I try to connect with fans from different fan bases and get different points of view. It's always fun, to talk to. And a lot of fans are saying the same thing this year, and that is that they're really, really hurting over the lack of organized team activities, the haphazardly arranged activities outside of the facility where players are sort of maybe gotten together a la Tom Brady. The lack of preseason's massively affected a lot of teams as well. I think it's probably going to be until week 4, week 5 before everybody's in a rhythm and we know exactly what's going on. And at that point, it's going to be interesting because I don't think until week 5, unless a team is 0-5 at that point, I don't think they're going to be out of it. Obviously, we've got the expanded playoff format. It's going to be an absolute sprint to the finish when everybody gets into groove, because I don't think there are going to be that many teams that are separated. I mean, you look at the way that the Saints comfortably handled the Buccaneers in week 1, but then looked poor at times against the Las Vegas Raiders. Still doesn't feel right saying that.
Yeah, I know, right?
May not feel right, but it's going to feel good going out there for a game.
Well, tell them. Tell them.
Yeah, but then everyone starts getting suspicious because when you travel to an away game, you're literally gone for 2 days. But when it's Vegas, you're gone for a week.
What happens in Vegas?
Hey, James, I want to ask you real quick, just as a curiosity, as a lineman, what was the explanation for Vita Vea being a defensive tackle selected in number 50? Like, why not a 90 number or at least a 7? Like, what is there a story behind that or explanation? I was just curious.
You know what? I have heard that there is something behind it. And I think it's got something to do with, one, like a player that he idolized growing up, and two, like I think his college number as well was like 5 or something, if I remember. I think there was the league made an exception. Here we go. There we go. Yeah, he's listed. He's not listed as a defensive tackle. He had to change his consignment. If you remember, Donnie Abraham of the Falcons used to wear 55 as a lineman.
Uh-huh.
He's actually listed as a defensive lineman rather than a defensive tackle, so he can wear the number of his choosing, which he chose number 50. Which is, you know what, I don't have a problem with it. I think there needs to be a little less rigidity. I much prefer the NFL numbering system to the college numbering system, if I'm honest, because I can look at a player's number and instantly know who they are and where they're playing. I'm a bit old school. I mean, I used to play running back and safety, and my number was 46. So yeah. I could. Oh, here comes the dirty joke. I could play both ways.
Oh, oh!
Woo. We all knew someone was going to go there. But yeah, so I mean, I used to wear number 46, and you know what? It was great for running backs, and it was great for defensive backs. But I do think there needs to be a little more fluidity, that certain players are allowed to wear different numbers. I don't see a problem with defensive linemen wearing numbers in the 50s or in the 90s. I mean, you're even seeing now defensive linemen wearing numbers in the 60s and the 70s, which were previously reserved for guards and tackles.
That's right.
Because there used to be like a really rigid system that it was quarterbacks, kickers, and punters that would wear 1 to 19, 20 to 49 was running backs and defensive backs. 50 to 59 was your linebackers. 60 to 69 was your guards. 70 to 79 was your tackles. 80 to 89 was your wide receivers, and 90 to 99 was your defensive linemen. And you know, it was a very, very traditional system. Everybody got used to it. But I do think that it's a little rigid. I know that the NFL does stand for No Fun League, but I think when players have that, I mean, does anyone remember who was it now? Reggie Bush, when he went to the Saints.
Yeah.
He ended up wearing 25, but he wanted to wear his number 5 from college.
USC, yeah.
You know what? If he'd have worn number 5 in that backfield, it wouldn't have bothered me.
Yeah. Oh, wow. I was a running back myself, man. I had 42 in high school, and I had 25 in junior college. 28 in junior college. I don't think running backs should be limited at all.
I mean, I don't think I'd like to see a running back running around in number 93 or something ridiculous like that.
Yeah, come on.
Get a little bit of William Perry the Fridge in there.
Oh, Clemsonite. Yes, sir. Yeah. Oh, so we have a game coming up in old Los Angeles, Cali Alley. Your daughter going to the game, Kev? Is she not in LA, is she?
Nah. My daughter is in Central Valley. She's in Modesto. She calls it the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, that's all right. Yeah.
She's north of Fresno and she's south of Sacramento.
Whoa!
And she's
that's no man's land.
She's east of San Francisco, so she's right in the middle of nothing, as she said.
God, there's nothing out there. Man, Sacramento's out in the country anyway.
Yeah, pretty much.
Wow. Oh, cool. But yeah, we're taking on those LA Chargers. We're gonna swing by Los Angeles. I know Shaq got people out west. Yeah, well, it was gonna be somewhat of a homecoming for our former Stanford standout Christian, but that's not gonna work out and stuff like that. But we're gonna go out there and hopefully win a football game. So we'll talk about that and see what's what, Mr. Kevin. What do you know about the Chargers, bro?
Well, I mean, if you based off last Sunday's performance, they damn near beat the Super Bowl champs. It went to overtime. Kansas City won 23-20 with former Carolina kicker Harrison Butker kicking a 58-yard field goal with like a minute 55 left.
Man, I'm still choking myself over that. Man, God almighty. Go ahead, bro.
Thanks, Ernie.
God
anyway,
almighty.
Yeah. Right, that whole part. But yeah, man. I mean, we're talking about facing, another rugged front seven. I mean,
oh yeah, that's right.
Sheesh. I mean, when you think about the Chargers, man, we're talking about was it both? It's not Nick. Is it Joey or Nick? Which one plays for the Chargers? Couldn't remember.
I want to say it's
Joey.
Joey Bosa. Okay, yeah, because I think his younger brother Nick got put on IR this past weekend. It was a league high 7 torn ACLs. It was just
ugly. Bro.
Ugly.
Rough week for fantasy football.
Hell yeah.
Who you telling?
That's why I don't play that shit.
Yeah, but yeah, we got Bosa on one end, you got Ingram on the other. So pass rush. Our offensive tackles are going to have to be on their very best. We're talking about two of the best cornerbacks in the league, even though they're Derwin James is out, they still have a very, very solid secondary. Yeah, man, this going to be one of them games that we can't let the turnovers beat us, because if we play them straight up, we should win. We should win this game. Now, they do have weapons on offense, but just throw some numbers out there. The rookie Justin Herbert, who wasn't notified until a few hours before the game started, is going to kick off because Tyrod Taylor had some sort of bad reaction during pregame. That's why he didn't play. But
he had an allergic reaction. I said I heard that he had an allergic reaction to something.
Right, yeah. But he came in 22 of 33 for 311 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception.
Damn.
That's pretty good for a rookie's first start.
Not bad.
Their running back, Eckler, going to be a headache. 16 carries, 93 yards.
Oh my.
Of course, All-Pro Keenan Allen, wide receiver. He had 7 receptions for 96 yards. So, folks, this by no means is this a quote winner, deemed a quote easy game. By no means. These Chargers in the post-Phillip Rivers era, it's talented. And, I know there's no moral victories, but, to play the defending Super Bowl champs the way that they did and almost pull it off, it's got them feeling like they could play with anybody. So when we stroll out there, we can't, go out there thinking, taking anything lightly about this team. It's just definitely going to be a game where we're just going to have to. I just want to see this be a game where we don't beat ourselves.
Yes.
Maybe if we allow 1 turnover at the most. But penalties 4 or less. Got to.
We got to.
Yeah, I would just like to see us how we look, same effort without the turnovers, to see what the results would be. That's what I would like. And who knows? I mean, flying out to the West Coast, 3,000 miles away, this could be a trip that, the team bonds and, going there, with that old us against the world mentality, and, nobody's expecting us. They got us picked dead last out of all 32 teams right now as far as, quote, power rankings and all that other good stuff. So,
yeah.
Hey, when it's like that, put it all out there. We don't have McCaffrey, so hey, they probably got us. I would love to see what the spread is going to be for us
Oh
against,
man.
Vegas going to have fun with that one. But overall,
Mm.
I just think that we got a puncher's chance if we don't beat ourselves. But if we're still doing Christmas in September, then it's just going to be another L that we bring back to Carolina.
Yeah. Good point, man. Good point. And who does the Bucs have, James? Since we have you on here.
We are traveling over to Colorado to play the Denver Broncos,
Oh,
who have got they've got their entire team missing basically.
Shit.
They've got no Lindsay, they've got no Drew Lock, they've got no Von Miller, they've lost their cornerbacks, they've lost an offensive lineman. They're missing a lot of players. But the frustrating thing is it's a Bucs life, and this is a game that on paper the Buccaneers should go into Mile High and mollywop the Broncos all over the field. But they're the Buccaneers, and they've got a great chance of bucking it up.
Don't buck it up now. Don't buck it up.
Hey, James, was you aware that the Broncos signed Blake Bortles to a 1-year contract today?
What?
I didn't see I saw that. And all I can think of is Jason Mendoza from The Good Place.
Holy Manoli.
That's not going to end well for them.
Does it ever? Poor Blake.
No.
Bless his heart.
I feel for the guy, but you know what? I think the Blake Bortles experiment should have ended in Jacksonville. I don't think that he should be teaching golf or whatever it is he's doing. He shouldn't be playing football anymore. He's done. You watch him absolutely light the Buccaneers up for 500 yards now.
Yeah, talk the man up now. Oh no. Oh man, this upcoming Sunday, folks, Carolina Panthers are going to be in San Diego. I believe the game time is 4:05. That's 4:05 Eastern Standard Time. And like Kevin said, man, we'll see what's up. If we don't turn the ball over like we did the first game, I don't think we didn't have any turnovers against the Raiders. We were there. We were there towards the end. That's a game we should have won actually. And like the Buccaneers game, who knows if we would just have one turnover instead of 4? Who knows?
And speaking of the Raiders, even though they beat us, shout out to them for beating New Orleans Saints last night. Appreciate the favor, neighbor. I had to congratulate my daughter's mother because she's been a Raiders fan because she was born in Oakland, so Las Vegas. But by the way, folks, if y'all didn't check it out, that stadium is top of the line. Allegiant is the name of it. Wow, that place, yeah, that's
like that.
Yeah, it's like that. Yeah,
like that.
Like we needed any more reasons to go to Vegas, but seriously, that stadium is definitely nice. But yeah, it was good to see New Orleans get punched in the mouth. So definitely a good thing there. Now that means that Carolina's only one game back in the division after week 2.
We're still in there. I appreciate you, James, man. Thanks for stopping by and hanging out with us, bro. We'll talk to you again, okay?
Yeah, it's great seeing you guys again. Always have a lot of fun doing this show. As Kevin said earlier in the show, we'll see each other again in a couple of weeks. And from my own point of view, I hope it's the same story as we had on Sunday. We need every wins we can get. Otherwise, this Super Bowl or bust thing is going to look close to bust. But I think Carolina are going to do a perfectly good job this season of picking up the pieces. I think there's a lot to be positive about. I think realistic expectations are the biggest name of the game. We've had to do it in Tampa so many years.
Great point. Yeah.
And it's what. As I say, expectations are the name of the game, and I think you guys, if you have those tempered expectations, are going to you're going to do just fine. It's not going to be this year. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and give you false hope. I think you all know that anyway. But, you know, give it a couple of years and this Carolina team's going to have a good core behind it. Great quarterback in Teddy Bridgewater. You'll be making noise again. But, guys, you know, you can find me at Bucs Life. Find my articles if you want to read something about the Bucs.
Yeah, man.
And you can catch me on Set the Sails on Monday nights. If you want to watch a couple of guys, a couple of girls talking about football, we talk mostly about Buccaneers football, of course, but we touch out on everything else as well in sports as well. So
right on.
It's a little bit different. But, guys, appreciate you having me on. This has been an absolute pleasure.
Thanks, James. Take it easy, bud.
See you later.
All right. So, but yeah, man, he got some good points, bro. We got some young pieces on this team, man. If we jail, bro, especially on defense, because they fly around. Those guys fly around, man. They do. We got some speed, you know. And if DJ learns how to be a little bit more sharp in his route running, you know, he's going to make it really hard for Teddy to throw the ball to Robbie like he has. But you know what, folks? You must be blind if you don't think Teddy and Robbie are on the same page. Those two are just clicking. They really are. And you know, man. We're gonna need all the help we can when we go out to LA.
Yeah, this would be the perfect time for us to get an APB out on Ian Thomas.
He didn't get one target last game, bruh.
Yeah.
That bothers me. A big guy like that, man, that can run
and catch.
Come on, man. Now I like that we was tossing it to Arma a little bit. I do like that. Arma got some good hands, man. And Kevin's been talking about Arma from day one.
From day one.
Arma got some good hands, bro. Y'all sleeping on Arma. That's why I said we gotta use Arma in that double tight end a little bit more, bro. And then make that mismatch between the safety and the tight end. Find that mismatch. But you know, and the fact that number 28, I forget the guy's name. I'm sorry. Is it Mike Davis? No, is that it?
Mike? Yeah, that's him, Mike Davis.
Yeah, Mike, the fact that Mike can catch the ball, man. That's awesome. That's a really good thing because people can't just be like, oh, they don't have McCaffrey. We can put 8 in the box and be fine. The hell you can.
Go ahead.
Do that.
Yeah.
Do that.
Press your luck. We're gonna have all kind of whammies for your ass. You do that one.
Yeah, you do. Watch out now. Watch out now. Oh man. So folks, that's pretty much the case here, man. Well, you can't have 4 turnovers on the road and expect to win a football game. That's just that's what they call fool's gold right there. You know?
Definitely.
You're not gonna happen. That's not gonna happen too many times. But I tell you what, man. James made a great point. Teddy Bridgewater, he can throw that rock, folks. He can throw that rock, and we got some receivers that can help him out, man. And I just wish that would have been here 3 years ago. But anyway, what all these receivers come from, Kevin? What is this?
Well, it definitely ain't the firm that we took to New Orleans in the playoff game in 2017. I tell you that.
Say word. Oh man. Where is Fun? Is he still in? Is he still in Indianapolis?
He opted out. He signed with Green Bay and he opted out.
Wow. Well, bless his heart. Peace and blessings to you, man. But, yeah, it is what it is, folks. But we're gonna go to LA, man. We're gonna lick our wounds, get together. And maybe we do jail out on the road. Road games with a W can bring about some good mojo. So we'll see, man. We'll see. Any parting shots there, brother?
Just always we never take for granted the 4-man rush. We always want to thank our fans for your support on all of our social media accounts. We appreciate the feedback, the inboxes, the tags. We just want to let you guys know we appreciate it. We love what we do, but we do what we do for you. Mm-hmm. we feel like that you guys definitely deserve to have this type of content, this type of knowledge, this type of breakdown of what's really going on with the team. So we just want to thank you guys for what y'all do, and we love you guys. And even when we had disagreements on points of view, it's still with all love. And just continue to keep supporting the 4-Man Rush. And hey, don't forget, go to our website and check us out. We dropping them blogs now, so check us out.
Some of the best writers out there, folks. Because it's coming from a straight football perspective. Ain't none of that. I'm not knocking on journalists. Don't get me wrong, folks. Don't get me wrong. But if you know how to articulate yourself and you play the game, that's a whole nother level, Jack. That's a whole nother level, and that's what the 4-Man Rush bring. Each and every one of those blog writers has at least a collegiate experience. So we'll bring it to you straight. Real football talk. That's what the 4-Man Rush is about. And like Kevin said, check out our website, man. Check out our website, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. And if you're not catching the Facebook post-game live with Kev, you should check that out because he's answering questions like mad, man. He's dropping knowledge on folks, man. Y'all can check that out for real. And the post-game show, shout out to Jadarius for figuring it out for me, man. Apparently I was looking in the wrong place. So be on the lookout for the post-game after our game in Los Angeles. It's gonna be a late night right there, boy. We're gonna be recording like 9:00. Oh shit, we're used to that. Don't worry about
it. I'm recording with our pajamas on.
Yeah, right.
4-Man Rush sleepover.
Yeah. Shit, we might start selling 4-Man Rush pajamas, man. What's up? Something for the ladies. Right on. All right, man. So on behalf of Kevin, myself, and the whole 4-Man Rush crew, we're a little short today. People got to work. Got to grind. Even in COVID time, you got to grind.
And them bill collectors still want their money.
Boy, ain't that the truth? And shout out to everybody out there who's going through some rough financial times right now. I mean, y'all hold your shit together. This is going to be over. There is an ending point to this, man. You just hang in there. All right? So yeah, on behalf of the 4-Man Rush crew and myself, appreciate you guys. Thanks for tuning in and listening to us and supporting us. And as always, keep pounding. And that's a clear. Yeah, man.
I like James. He's a good guy.
Yeah, man. Yeah, he knows his shit too, bro. Oh, yeah. Right. He's a good guy. Man. They should have took that L, bro. We should have beat the Bucs, folks. If
I could look at 5 plays and say we could be 2-0.
I'm just taking time to really let it breathe. So baby, just chill. Yeah. She love it. We out in public and we can just chill with my partners, and we can go back to my crib and just chill under covers and do we call me and you lovers.
The 4-Man Rush is brought to you by the love and respect of and for the Carolina Panthers and Carolina Panther fans everywhere. Keep pounding. The 4-Man Rush is a non-affiliate of the Carolina Panther organization. All thoughts, assessments, and content of this podcast is directly related to the 4-Man Rush exclusively. Thank you.